Now, we have both tested this car very thoroughly, and it has been a blast, and it's very durable too. This time we're throwing some 3S power in it, so we're really gonna see how much it wakes up.
And it's stable.
And it's quite stable.
Our deck stairs need to be replaced rather badly. All the stringers are completely rotted out.
Now, of course, you might have seen that last time we did break a control arm.
Right here, that is a pretty well-known problem for these cars, and it seems to almost always be the fronts. The rears will probably break on us too one day, but for now, we have a set of these, nope, that's not it. We have a set of these RPM arms to put on the front. Luckily, I've got the lumber right here.
We will do a speed test and see how much faster it is than it was on the 2S, which we have 2 videos of this on 2S already. See how much further it jumps, you know, all that stuff, and see if it can handle the extra beating it's gonna take.
We also have a heat sink on the motor. Hopefully that'll help keep it from getting too hot. And another thing that happened was the little nub of the switch broke off. Wow, that whole switch assembly got trashed. Well, never mind. This switch is completely trashed. No idea how that happened, so we're gonna replace it. Well, I have tried to find one of these switch assemblies by itself with no luck, so I am going to open this up and see which wires we need to jump just to completely abandon the switch and just run this car. Keep in mind that jumping the wrong wire contacts under here can definitely damage the ESC, potentially cause some other type of hazard. For right now, the only way to shut this thing off is just to unplug the battery, unless I decide to put just a simple switch on here, which I might do. Can't find my heat gun, so this will have to do. Man, I wish it was that easy. Now we're gonna finally get these RPM arms on here to replace this broken one. Thanks for a great packaging job, Gigi. Battery's dead. And just so you know, it is very difficult to get these shock ends inside this hole in the control arm. Okay, definitely a pretty tight squeeze. Hopefully that battery doesn't fall out on us. There's our non-code compliant stairs completed. Okay, I also drywall taped and shoe good this body. I've got my EC5 to Dean's adapter. They really shouldn't be using Dean's on this truck in my opinion, but if it never burns up, then I won't ever complain about it. Whoa! Holy! Kind of need that wheelie bar. Oh, skimmed it. I mean, this thing is a monster. Ooh. This thing has such good control. Double. Oh. Uh-oh, battery popped out. Oh, Mr. Battery. Yeah.
It can take the beating, like it's fallen from like pretty high.
I know. It usually ends up breaking after a while, but you can get parts. You can get every single part that are on these cars. It is pretty fun, super awesome stuff. And we seem to have lost power. Everything's plugged in. Motor's not insanely hot. She steers, but no forward or reverse. Don't end it on me like this. This was too fun. What's the deal? I'm surprised with how not hot the motor is. It's definitely warm, but it's not scorching. Well, there's some movement. Okay. I've got forward and brakes, but no reverse. It also doesn't seem like full power. It's automatically putting the brakes on. That is definitely not full power. Automatic brakes. What's up with that? Oh, look at my little servo twitch there. Oh. Hard to do when it's automatically hitting the brakes for you. Rather annoying. Still think this is one of the best out-of-the-box suspensions too. Ah. Ooh, 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 ooh. I lost a wheel cap. I bet my pinion moved on me again. Yeah, I readjusted the motor for proper meshing because it was tight, and I had a wheel nut loosen on me and a pin fell out. So I put a new wheel pin in this rear left. Still reduced power. Still hits the brakes. Ah. Oh hey, just found a sway bar link. Fan's still running. Died again. Oh, and just lost another wheel cap. Still don't understand this power loss thing. Plus, what's happening when it's not going, like right now, is it's having trouble binding the remote. Turn it off and then back on, and sometimes it works. Really got to fight that automatic brake it's doing. You can't. Oh, lost my rear wheel again. Okay, yep. Didn't lose my pin that time. Just my wheel nut. Good luck. Nope, there it is. I mean, cars always be losing their wheel nuts, but this whole power loss thing is really annoying. Why is it doing that? And why am I having trouble binding at the same time?
Well, what do you think the problem might be?
I mean, I guess common sense might tell you the ESC is bad, being that it has trouble binding and it's got a power loss, automatic braking. I mean, that definitely would be
an ESC symptom, but with these funky electronics, all kinds of things can cause that.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
Brushless motors are pretty complex, so it wouldn't surprise me that much to find out it was actually a motor problem, or even a controller problem, but I do doubt it.
What a smart dude. Don't forget to like this video.
It's leaning real hard on turns. Is that sway bar link maybe? Ah. Man, if it survives this, seriously, minus whatever is electrically wrong, this is my new #1 truck. Might have already been, actually. Ah, battery. No, sir, those ramps are not made for vehicles of your size. Oh, that's definitely a suspension killer. Seems okay though. Yep, there's battery. I think we ran through the battery. That was a long drive. We've got some stuff to talk about, mister. We're gonna do that in just a minute. I guess I better make sure you're a mister. Yep. The motor mount did not move this time. The gear mesh is still good. She is pretty hot, but not quite as hot as when I ran it on 2S, surprisingly, but that was without this heat sink on it. It is a hot day. See, I'm sweating. Would I say it's too hot? Yes. Yes, I would. That's definitely bad for the motor. However, that is not what's causing that power loss, because it was not this hot. It was actually relatively cool when that first started happening.
Okay, we have a whole lot to talk about with this thing. Yes, that power loss was very frustrating. That happened right after the battery flew out of the car, which is definitely not good for electronics. It was still fun and still definitely a little bit faster than it was on 2S.
I did check the cells of the battery and they all show very close to each other. Obviously this battery is now depleted, but we still had at least 20 more minutes of runtime after it initially lost that power. So it's actually been quite a few days since we did this actual run. So I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it with this battery, which is fully charged. Still a 3S, but with a lower C rating and milliamp hours. So we're gonna go do a speed test on it real quick, see what it can do on 3S, because this thing's super fast, and I'll be able to tell if it's going as fast as it was before, or if it still has a power loss. Yep, definitely has power loss still. Put some tape on her. Oh, and lost there it is. 27.3. Yep, that stinks. Oh. Oh. Oh, I got my foot. There you go. Whoa, that was awesome. Well, as you saw, we still have the power loss. From what I remember, we're getting 1 mile an hour over what we got on 2S with this thing. So being even with another battery and the fact that we're having binding issues with the controller and we're having speed and reverse issues, I am betting that it is most likely the ESC. That makes the most sense to me. This truck is supposed to be capable of running 3S, so I do not believe that that should have fried it. I stated in my original video of this truck, the review that I did think the electronics, or at least the motor, were a little small for the size of the car, and I believe that that might be part of the problem here as well. But we'll figure out that problem and get a 3S speed test in a different video, because obviously it's not going to happen this time. But I want to talk more about the car's durability and suspension. This truck has probably the best suspension out of the box out of any of my vehicles. The Creighton suspension is good. It is not as good as this one, in my opinion. This takes the jumps and the landings very well straight out of the box. I have not done any adjustments on these shocks. All of this came out of the box exactly like you see it. As far as a fast car, whether it's 2S or 3S, This thing handles so well. Also, our basement is now completely remodeled. If you hadn't heard yet, we started a full remodel on this probably 3 years ago, but we recently got into a big rush to get it finished. I actually did this bathroom about 5 years ago. Here's what the basement used to look like. Unfortunately, we finished it just in time for someone else to hopefully buy it soon and enjoy it more than we will. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I put a lot more time into this one than I usually do. So I'd absolutely love it if you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet, especially if you watched this entire video. And a quick note on malfunctions on my vehicles. I run these harder than you ever should. Some people run them harder than I do. But you have to expect stuff like this is going to happen. So I do reviews and all kinds of stuff on a lot of cars, cheap ones and expensive ones. And if you see things break, you do have to take that with somewhat of a grain of salt, because this thing was up in the air. That was at least 15 feet off that big ramp. And it falling down and landing on concrete with just a very thin amount of plastic between the chassis slapping against the ground and an electronic device, that kind of thing is bound to happen. Being that the speed is very similar to the 2S run that we did, I'm guessing that we jacked up one of the battery circuits inside here. So it is basically running on 2S, but I bet the ESC is seeing a problem, so it is automatically applying the brakes. It's called a drag brake, and you can usually program that in. Maybe somehow I accidentally hit that button and I actually programmed something different. That is definitely possible, being that, you know, this is all messed up how it is. So when I'm doing these big jumps and all that stuff, it's really just us trying to have fun. It's also us showing you what could break potentially if you run it hard, or even if you don't. So in a sense, it's like finding a weak spot on the cars, but it's really not a weak spot because this is way more than these things really should be able to handle. I honestly do believe this is probably one of the most durable vehicles we've got. Lately, the Creighton's been very durable as well, but I have at least $500 in just upgrade parts on it. This thing is straight out of the box. I haven't done anything except break the wheelie bar off and break the switch. Oh, and of course put new control arms on it. But that being said, that is absolutely nothing. Those control arms were like $13. Extremely affordable, extremely durable. Highly recommend this truck if you're looking for something with a lot of speed and a lot of jumping potential. Plus just super fun to drive around. Link in the description if you're interested.